My name's LazyBed, and I've been a fight fan for over 30 years. As an accidental industry insider, I've become a staple in the chat rooms of some of your favorite podcasts.
I'm DangerMouse, an Englishman by blood, a Yorkshireman by the grace of God, a dedicated, devoted, and often sleep-deprived casual fan who once upon a time did earn a black belt in Japanese Jiu-Jitsu.
And my name is Austin, aka No Special, a former wrestler with a knack for all things grappling, who's not afraid of a fiery take or ruffling some feathers.
Together, we combine our individual expertise to dive deep into the current events and ongoings in the world of mixed martial arts, the big and the small. This is the Weekend Roundup. Good evening, fight fans, and thank you for choosing Tim Hortons. I've slathered myself in maple syrup, and I'm currently dipping my balls into a piping hot vat of cheesy poutine. Ooh, meat gravy. I hope you've all been taking it easy today. After all, on Saturday night, we all got Winnipeg'd, whether we liked it or not. Goodness me, where are my manners? Very, very un-Canadian-like of me to forget to introduce myself. I'm LazyBed, but for today's episode, you could call me Geddy Lee because I'm in a rush to get this thing over with. So, before I ramble on, let me wrap these intros up in a Manitoba minute. He's not afraid to say swing to a good time. He once told us privately that he's casted a bust of his unmentionables that he refers to as his gold member. And though he's not the British one here, he most definitely has Austin Powers. It's our guy, No Special. What's up, Austin?
I love gold.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
You son of a bitch. That was good. I had fun watching the fights. I don't remember much of them, but I'm going to have a good time trying to remember either way. Let's go.
For those that didn't catch the Canadian link there, those are all Mike Myers characters. So Canadian, there we go. That's the theme there. And while I compared myself to Geddy Lee, this fella is definitely my Neil Peart, because without him carrying half the hosting load for our three-piece band, we wouldn't be able to belt out Tom Sawyer to the dozens of JBR faithful every single week. Oh, wait a minute. Neil Peart's dead? Oh, fucking hell. Show hasn't even started and I already killed the mouse. What's going on, DM? What's going on?
I think that might be time for me to exit stage left then.
Nice, very nice.
I love the Rush references. I do like a bit of Rush every now and again. I was kind of low energy, but yeah, brought me back a bit to life there, Lazy. So yeah.
Well, that's my job here as the host of this episode. It's my job to bring the fucking energy. So hopefully I can continue to do so because, guys, this card might have been a little bit cold. Might have been cold like that Winnipeg weather. So perfect segue here as we begin, because it is time to break out your denim suits and snow boots, boys. It's main event recap time. And what do you know? Cleveland's cast off and Canada's favorite adopted son, Mike Malott, gets it done. But what about poor Gilly B? Oh, piss on it. I genuinely don't give a flying fuck about this fight. Burns was, and will continue to be completely washed. Yes, that's washed with an R. That's when you're uber washed. Shout out to my grandma Jean, rest in peace. But he did stand a puncher's chance because, well, proper Mike, rather, is kind of a proper doof. In this instance, however, the doof gets the W, and he does so at 2:08 into round number 3. Drops Gilbert, closes in with some finishing shots, and that's all she wrote on the fight and on the career of Mr. Burns, as he would lay down the gloves following the bout. Now, on a personal level, I found the finish rather unremarkable. But it seems that Hunter and the boys felt otherwise, with Mike being awarded a $100,000 performance bonus. So on the losing side, a very tough way to go out, but really all too common in this sport. Despite his accomplishments, Dorino exits on a 5-fight losing streak where he found himself finished on 3 separate occasions. So I'm going to kick it to you, No Special. You're going to start us off here. Give your breakdown of this welterweight main event.
Well. Yeah. Our boy from the north got it done, eh? You know, you got, Mike Malott. You got to look at the guy and you got to think, well, if he could throw a strike and land it on Gilbert's chin, he's got a chance of winning, eh? All right, that's enough of that. I don't know why. I was gonna try to do the Mike Malott. We like him a lot. He's got a car in the parking lot, but it didn't work out, and it just went to fucking Minnesota accent for some reason. I don't know why. but but to talk about the fight, the thing is that I kind of knew the better striker was going to be Malott. He's going to kind of be slow, methodical, calculated, but he wasn't going to try to like bum rush Gilbert because Gilbert's got at least a decent, couple of hooks, couple of kicks, couple of knees, an ability to take you down still. He's not like incapable of performing when he has to, but you could see he was just shot. And I think the last thing they say about a fighter who's no longer capable is the fact that they're gun shy, meaning that they don't throw strikes as often. They're not capable as taking as many risks, and when they do, it's very easy for them to get hurt or wobbled. And we saw that like clear as day. I mean, from the first opening salvo that we saw, like from them opening up each other's offense, you could see the difference. Like Mike Malott will get hit and not really react. He no-sell strikes fairly frequently in this fight, but like Gilbert could not like at all withstand any offense that was coming his way. His head would get rattled. He'd get knocked back. And matter of fact, the only time he ever actually landed on Malott was when he was inside the pocket and they were throwing countering hooks. Even a couple of leg kicks here and there, and you could see like it wasn't really doing too much to affect Malott. And I kind of found it sad, not because I thought Gilbert had a chance, but because it showed that just I picked Malott. I don't know which round I picked, but I knew it was going to be a finish, and it just proved the point. Like you could see the damage appearing to get worse per round. And by the time it was in the third, he had already had like the blood, coming out of his face. His face was swollen, a bunch of bruising and whatnot. And it's just like, yeah, it wasn't even that like Malott looked good. It was more like Gilbert Burns looked bad, and that's not. I know I don't want to take the win away from Mike, but like, damn, like this was like proof that Gilbert was pretty much done, and I'm so glad that he actually called it a career. I felt bad because he's crying. There was someone that was crying earlier in the night, and I don't know if we'll get to that, but yeah. But this one I actually genuinely felt bad. I felt heartfelt, because he's like trying to be like, hey, I can't do this anymore. Like, I tried really hard, and this is the best that I can do. I don't know if I can keep doing this type of thing. And I respect that because he's like, I just want to be, able to try to keep doing this until I can't, and I can't clearly keep doing this. So I think I got to call it. And good for him, man. I mean, he's always been an exciting fighter. I've never looked at Gilbert Burns and thought like a boring fight would come out of his career. And I've always like from him as a lightweight and him as a welterweight, and he was still undersized, like he's a big kid, but Mike Malott is a bigger dude and not as punch drunk, and you could just count like every single like head shake or bad reaction from Gilbert Burns, and by the time it got stopped, it was a good thing, because I was afraid that if it got into the fifth round, we might actually see some real damage accrue on Gilbert Burns, but thankfully we didn't. It was a merciful stoppage, and happy trails to Gilbert, and Mike Malott is a player in this division. I don't know if that's good or bad for him, to be honest. So yeah, this is what it is.
Well, I had a little follow up here, and you brushed on it briefly there. I was going to ask you, do you think that this fight was more about the rise of Mike Malott, or is it the fall of Gilbert Burns, like the bottom of the Gilbert Burns fall?
If it's anything, you got to look at his last couple of fights. Like he rinses what's his name, the guy who likes to use the slurs in his post-fight speeches, and he rinsed him pretty well. But the other guy he fought was Kevin Holland, and he had like a tepid fight with him, mainly because he can only strike his balls, but but I mean, this one, it's just like he had the perfect punching bag, for lack of a better term. He had the perfect opponent. And then I don't know what this does for him in the long run. It might just set him up for failure, because now he can't go backwards. He's got real guys who are going to give him offense, and it's more about Gilbert Burns just not being that guy anymore. I'm sorry to say it.
I sort of did feel the same way. I felt like this was more so about the fall off of Gilbert, the end of the fall off of Gilbert, than it was about the rise of Mike. Because you look at these last 5 L's in a row for Gilbert, and it's just, Malott's clearly like the worst of the bunch, because he loses to Bilal, then he loses to JDM, then Sean Brady, then Michael Morales, and then he finally loses last night to Mike Malott. I think that's kind of the for the fan base and for Gilbert, that was kind of a wake up call. Like, man, I'm fucking losing to the Mike Malotts of the world. It's probably time now, 5 in a row. But a fantastic career. I think he really deserves a lot of credit for the things that he did accomplish in his fighting career, including at one point, I believe he was on a 5-fight winning streak, kind of near the top of the division, becoming a title challenger, and just one of those guys that was perennially always there and willing to compete. But yeah, definitely happy trails, Gilbert Burns. But DangerMouse, Mike Malott, he does climb to 14-2-1 after this. He's now 7-1 in the UFC. Yet I can't help feeling, and many others, like nobody really puts much stock into him, regardless of what he did here. So following UFC Winnipeg, we can safely assume that this win does get him somewhere close to that number 11 ranking that Gilbert held. So he's going to be up there, like Austin mentioned, amongst the bigger fish in the pond. So give us your thoughts on the fight here and the performance of Mike Malott.
Mike Malott, we like him a lot. Well, at least I do. We don't have any draft fighters on this card, so I did buy Mike Malott for my fantasy team, and him getting promoted is going to do wonders for that. Definitely Malott's toughest challenge so far. Gilbert Burns has fought some of the biggest names in the game. He's lost to some of them. He's also beaten a few of them. Very cautious first round by both guys, I thought. And then in the second round, Malott picked up the pace. He landed a couple of heavy shots that actually seemed to hurt Burns. And then by the third round, he just figured a way around Burns' defense, and he just dropped in with a few heavy shots. And then he just showed no mercy, despite his Canadian nature. Didn't give Gilbert a moment to recover, and he just unleashed that barrage of kind of looping hooks until Burns rolled over and forced the ref to stop it. Malott, very respectful towards Burns, offered him nothing but praise, as nice and polite as you'd expect a Canadian to be. What's for him in the future? Yeah, he's in dangerous waters now, just outside the top 10, presumably. Yeah, above him, he'd have Venom Page, Uros Medic, D-Rod, Colby Covington, who most likely now is going to gain a position. How sad is that?
Yeah, really, don't remind me. Fuck.
Yeah, so I guess above him is, I don't know who's else fights booked at the moment. Is Bonfim fighting anyone at the moment? Buckley?
He's about to fight Bilal in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Buckley?
I don't think he is.
I can't recall off the top of my head, but I don't think. I like the Uros Medic matchup for him. I think that's probably the fight he's most competitive in.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, it's fair. Yeah. Because, I don't think there's anybody in the top 10 you want to see him against right now, because, I wouldn't have much faith in him.
Yeah, fair. It did allow him to consolidate his place there, at the very least.
Yeah.
And if he loses, he still stays in the top 15. So, yeah, that could be a good option for him. Any other questions? Sorry, you had for me, Lazy? I've rambled there because I don't really have much to say.
Well, I do slightly have a question that I wanted to ask of both of you, just ever so briefly, before we move on from this fight on to the next. But I mentioned, as I was rambling prior, that Gilbert had, strung together a pretty good run at one point in the UFC, has had a solid career. But that run that I was mentioning, that 5-fight winning streak that I brought up, it began back in 2018. He starts off this 5-fight winning streak. He beats Olivier Aubin-Mercier, who would go on to be a multi-time PFL tournament winner. Then he beats Mike Davis, who's still competing today and is still a threat in the UFC today. Beats probably the weakest one in this run, Alexei Kunchenko, and then takes out Gunnar Nelson and follows that up with wins over both Damian Maia and Tyron Woodley. So nice little fucking run he went on there. Goes 10-15 overall, or 15-10 rather, in the UFC during his time there. Do you guys think, with the career that he put together, he deserves a potential Hall of Fame spot? And if he doesn't deserve it for the career, is it possible we could get him in for that Hamzat fight?
The fight with Hamza, I would give him without a moment's notice. But an actual place in the Hall of Fame, I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree with that. If you're going to get him in there, I mean, hell, if Cub can't get in without like just getting only the fight mentioned with Doo Ho Choi, you could at least get Burns in there for the fight. I mean, it'd be nice to like have a whole wing of like just bangers that we're also Hall of Famers, but beggars can't be choosers, I guess.
I was just curious because I brought it up last night in the MMA fighting chat, and Jed kind of basically said the same thing. Like he really disagreed completely that Gilbert should get in because he said he doesn't deserve it based on his career, and there's a million other fights that you could list ahead of that fight with Hamza that should be in that aren't yet. So,
from LazyBed, and this I think is a good question. It's LazyBed, of course. Does Burns' career warrant a Hall of Fame spot? And if not, does the Hamzat fight warrant a Hall of Fame spot? AK, I'd like to answer because I've had some time. I do not believe Gilbert Burns' career warrants a Hall of Fame spot. I don't think the Hamzat fight warrants a Hall of Fame spot, and that comes with a major caveat. And the major caveat is this: I think that the UFC does the Hall of Fame quite poorly, in that it's very stupid to have one fight inducted every year, because every year there's a fight of the year, and there are a lot of fights. So you are never going to get ahead or even get to parity on fights that should be in the Hall. So, like, I wouldn't be upset if they did announce Gilbert Burns versus Hamzat, but that's like 30 on the list, and more fights will come. And so just how do you do it? So if they open up, I have pitched for a while that they should add a performance bonus to the Hall of Fame, and that they should induct more than one fight, that they should induct 2 or 3 fights a year to the Hall of Fame. Because there's no shortage of great fights to recognize and honor. And if that happened, I'd be much more open to Gilbert Burns, Hamzat making it in there in the next 10 years or so. But I can just think of like 10 fights right now without even trying that aren't in the Hall and should be in over that. So I would say no to both.
I don't know. I just kind of feel it's
what other fight?
It was a good fight. Saying that, I think I've watched it twice. I think maybe 3 times. And part of that was because I was doing a video on Hamza.
I think he deserves to get in one way or another. If you put in 25 fights in the UFC and you come out on the winning side of that.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
A lot of those are bangers. Just find some way to get the guy in there.
Yeah. Jed's mean. That's probably Jed's problem. Jed Mean Shoe. That's his new nickname.
Plus, as we always say, MMA retirements are almost never permanent. So we could see Gilbert back somewhere sooner rather than later.
Hopefully in grappling and not striking.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I wonder if his wife and kids were with him because he was intending to retire, whether he won or lost.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair. I think that was going to be the case. Yeah.
That's another interesting thing that I brought up last night was, had the UFC had a event scheduled for this year in Brazil coming up, I wonder if Gilbert would have retired still, or if he would have stuck around for one more back home in Brazil. But they don't have an event scheduled for Brazil for this year, and I've heard they won't be back there until next year. So probably was helped to influence his decision making last night.
Fair.
All right. Okay, well, yeah, that's that fight. So what do you guys say we now break down the co-main event between a bearded lady and a pirate who really loves his sister? Sounds like some sort of a drunken circus gone wrong, right? Well, that's basically what it was. It's basically what it was. As predictable as a cool Winnipeg wind, Kyler the Matrix Phillips ran out of stamina faster than a dot matrix printer runs out of ink. Whew, that was a mouthful. Once the wind had left the American sails, the French-Canadian butt pirate swooped in on his skinny-legged, cheesily tattooed boat. Charles Jourdain gets it done in a UD win, bumping himself up to 18-8-1, earning his 3rd win in a row at bantamweight, and he was one of the very few bright spots for Canada on the night. On the flip side, while Kyler did go home with a third consecutive loss, he also went home with an extra $100,000 as he and Jourdain earned Fight of the Night honors. Not a finish, DangerMouse, but an enjoyable scrap. Air Jourdain looking fairly solid and like he has truly found a home at 135. What did you think of the co-main event?
Yeah, very busy fight. That was the first thing I wrote down in my notes. Lots of stuff going on. I think it deserved fight of the night. I don't have any argument with that. We had Phillips very strong in the first round with his wrestling, and then after round one, Jourdain's corner was saying, "That's it. That's his best effort. He's done now." And then I was laughing because on the screen, maybe 30 seconds later, an Aaron Bronstetter tweet popped up saying that historically, that Phillips always runs out of gas after the first round. And that just showed Jourdain just relentless with his pressure. Frenetic action from him. Even when Phillips was managing a takedown, he mainly ended up just defending a whole variety of different sub attempts. You know, there were legs and arms flying everywhere, trying to wrap around his neck. I think he had almost had him in a Kimura at one point, close to the end of a round. It was kind of funny. It was very late at night when I watched it, obviously, and more than a few drinks deep. And I didn't overly enjoy it when I watched it, but I enjoyed it much more this afternoon when I rewatched it. And I did notice Kyler Phillips obviously wasn't very happy with the result. I mean, no one's going to be happy when they lose, but he seemed to think he'd won it. And I think maybe he'll understand when he rewatches it with his coaches, presuming he does, because no way, sorry, Kyler, you didn't win that fight. I predicted this one was going to be a decision. I think most people probably predicted it was going to be a decision, one way or the other. And unsurprising, but a very good performance. 100K each. Congratulations, lads. Well done.
It's tough, man, because it feels like if Kyler Phillips could have just found, I don't know, man, some method, some form of something he's not doing in the gym to just expand that gas tank even a little bit. Even if you could get a second round of stamina, he's got such an explosive repertoire of moves. His skill set is phenomenal, and he's one of these guys that's like, for the first round, man, he's a real threat. But if you can get him out of that initial 5 minutes, you stand a much safer bet of beating him. And it's a strange thing because that's the kind of thing you expect in maybe like guys who are like middleweight and above. But you know, it's not the kind of thing you expect of a 135er. It's very peculiar.
How old is he?
30 years old, I believe. He's 30 years old.
Yeah.
So a quick follow-up before we pass it to Austin. I did have one more thing for you, Mouse. And maybe this is just something that strikes me. I definitely thought it at 145, which is where Charles Jourdain spent the initial, the beginning part of his UFC career. But now, even now that he's down at 135, this now his third fight, I believe, down there, it still kind of strikes me, and I wonder if maybe you've seen it too. Does he not look a little bit frail for the weight class? Just a little bit slender, he's not the most filled out guy.
Yeah, that would be fair, I think. Did someone in commentary say that he might be worth going down another 10 pounds?
Which is crazy to think.
It is.
Where the hell are you going to find it?
It depends how hard the weight cut is for him already. Because, as you said, he's not very well built, so he doesn't carry that much muscle. And he obviously doesn't have much fat on him.
Do you think maybe he's just the kind of guy that doesn't like to spend time in the gym doing strength and conditioning? Like that's not his forte.
That's possible. That's more than possible.
Maybe he just doesn't cut a lot of weight, comes in very close. I don't know. He just looks skinny. Like even moving down a weight class, he still looks skinny. It's crazy.
Obviously, he doesn't stimp on his cardio practice because he has a gas tank for miles.
That's fair. All right. Well, Austin, what do you think? Of the fight. Good showing for Charles Jourdain. Bad showing for Kyler Phillips. Just give us your takes on this co-main event.
I didn't think it was deserving of fight of the night. I thought if you're going to give anything to it, you would have given another performance bonus to Jourdain for just kind of like saying, fuck you. You don't, even if you're going to take me down, I'm not going to let you fucking dominate me, which is a hard thing to do. And question, I'm not familiar with the back story of Phillips. Has he ever historically like been a wrestler? Like not in his fights, but in his background, like the high school state champion, or
I don't
messed
believe
around
so.
in college?
No. Yeah, I don't think
Okay,
so.
so that makes more sense to me, which is what my take is going to be. He looks like he kind of concentrated on doing the wrestling bit, but forgot what wrestling entails. Like, maybe it's just me, but because he has the cardio issues to begin with when he faces better competition sometimes. Phillips was usually a guy who kind of concentrates on one thing and usually does the one thing consistently throughout the fight. And in this case, it looked like he had been concentrating on trying to do wrestling, regardless if it was going to be progressive for his game plan or not. And it kind of was to his detriment because if anybody knows what wrestling is, getting takedowns, unless you're consistently doing it forever, is not easy. But if you do it enough, it becomes second nature. You find openings. You're trying to use force and technique with strength in a minimal amount of effort. Right? Ronda Rousey, I think he used to put it best when it came to grappling. It's like you're trying to do the most with the least amount of effort. So in his situation, he literally forced takedowns and would find takedowns. The more he forced takedowns, the more he expended energy, and then would try to kind of struggle keeping Jourdain down. As Mouse was saying, Jourdain's throwing submission attempts and throwing strikes from his back. Like, he didn't give him enough time to even rest. And when he's actually standing on top of him, Phillips is like finding ways to get back on top of him and still not able to progress the grappling in any real meaningful sense because Jourdain's not letting him settle. Jourdain's forcing him to move. He got the guy who was using the wrestling game plan to tire out, and usually that's the opposite. If you're a wrestler, you know how to kind of expand your energy without draining it. And in this case, he's not a natural wrestler, so a guy who's just going to bulldoze over your opponent and try to sit on top of them is going to expend more energy trying to keep their opponent down rather than, the opponent gassing out themselves trying to defend the takedown. He did the opposite. And that's what affected his striking because you could see he was actually landing fairly clean shots on Jourdain. And what ended up happening was that Jourdain would kind of just like eat it, no sell it, and then throw 5 or 6 back. He would land to the knees to the body. He would land strikes to the body. He would every time they were in the clinch, he didn't give a shit if Phillips was trying to take him down. He literally just kept hitting him. He didn't stop anytime they were in the clinch, anytime he was fighting the takedown, anytime he was taken down. He forced the guy with the wrestling game plan to gas out before he can even implement his game, which was smart, but also kind of questionable because if he faces somebody who actually knows how to wrestle regularly and better, which is probably why he came down to bantamweight, he's going to struggle. He hasn't found that yet because he hasn't faced any of the good grapplers in this division just yet. Kyler Phillips doesn't strike me as a good jiu-jitsu guy or a grappler, you know what I mean? He's a decent striker, but, I wouldn't have called him a top 15 guy, but Jourdain might just find himself there sooner rather than later if he keeps up this type of performance. And again, like if you're Jourdain, don't face grapplers just yet because that might just come up, might just make the wheels fall off just yet. But we'll see. Like he looks good, man. I don't know. You guys are talking about his weight cut. You should not cut down to 25. Not yet. No.
Well, yeah. I understand
Isn't he
the
getting
thought.
on a bit as well, Jourdain?
I believe he's 30 as well. I believe they were both 30. Yeah, I wouldn't really. Although I think he could potentially make that weight because he isn't the most gigantic guy. I don't think he would have the hardest time. I'm saying. I don't think he should because his chin isn't the greatest. His chin isn't the strongest. And then Austin, while you were talking there, I got curious and wanted to see just a little bit about where Kyler Phillips was training at, what he had going on in the wrestling department. And of course, he is training at the MMA lab out of Glendale, Arizona. Pretty good gym, solid gym. But I took a look at it, and amongst their staff listed, guys, they don't even have a wrestling coach. They have 2 youth wrestling coaches, but they don't have a professional coach for amateur, men's level wrestling. They have youth wrestling coaches. So, tough scenes.
It might benefit him to go to a college wrestling room to kind of get some insight on that because he's in Arizona. They have plenty of rooms out there.
Yeah, you would think. And that this segues me into the last topic that I want to bring up from this co-main event before we move it along. And I want to pose this to you, Austin. We've said it a couple of times now. We confirmed it. Kyler, just 30 years old. He is 6-4 in the UFC, which isn't terrible. It's pretty good. But he's on a 3-fight losing streak now. So in the old UFC, his time would probably be up. He'd probably be getting his walking papers. But now in this new age UFC where they're letting these guys rack up 4 or 5 fight losing streaks, do you think that they keep Kyler Phillips around, or do you think his time's up?
Fuck, that's a good question. Because he's had good performances, right?
If this was a couple years ago, he's gone. Yeah, he's had pretty good performances.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, well, even for the depth of this division, I think you got to see, because if it's 3 in a row, right? I say the way that they should do it when their divisions are super stacked like this is just like, if you can't get past a guy that's like from like the 30 to 45, ranking, then he should probably get removed from the division. But again, they kind of do shit weird where it's like, yeah, we'll just throw him at the against another top 15 guy and he might actually get a win, But who knows? But
they fucking love doing this shit, keeping these guys around that are on losing streaks. They'll cut guys on a losing streak like this and then bring them back for a short notice fight. It's
that's the thing that kind of concerns me, because like it would be fine if they just let him go. He gets a couple of wins on the regional scene, and like in a short fashion, like in a year, they might just bring him back. Like, it's not out of the question that he's not like incapable of getting better. Yeah, I don't think he could get better against the guys in this division now. Like that's why you're supposed to get steps back in competition sometimes when you hit a rock or a hard place, But I think that they should, because this division doesn't need more people.
Yeah,
probably
they
one
got
of the
so
deeper
much
divisions.
depth. Yeah, bantamweight's so deep. All right, let's keep going. Let's go to the feature bout now, guys. And for this feature bout, we're going to be banging rat garbage in the black country. Or are we? Oh, yeah, we fucking are, baby. We fucking are. I may not have understood 75% of the post-fight speech that Jai Herbert gave in celebration of his victory, but I understood every bit of what he was saying with his fists. Cruel intentions quickly turned to catastrophic results when some overzealous pursuit ended the night and the long-awaited UFC debut of Mando Nalo.
Jai Herbert defeating Mandel Rat Garbage Nalo, who's now going by Mango. I don't know why he's doing this.
Boys, how quickly the tables turned. This fight seemed to very much be going Mando's way before the momentum quickly shifted in favor of his English opposition. He finds himself snapping a 4-fight winning streak and dropping to 14-4. Herbert, on the other hand, moves up to 14-6-1. Not what I had anticipated, not what many had expected, but a hell of a finish. Austin, what did you think of Jai Herbert versus Mando Nalo?
This was my fight of the night.
Crazy fight.
Oh yeah, if anyone deserved 100K each, it was this fight, and because it was just like back and forth. It reminded me of fucking Pat Barry versus Chet Congo back in the day, right? Where it's just like two dudes, one's fucking on skates for half of the fucking fight duration, and then all of a sudden it comes back and just wobbles his opponent and just like fucking decks him twice, and it's like, oh my god, like that's BC. It's like you're kind of watching this thing play out. You're like, oh, Rat Garbage has got it. It looks like it. This is the fun thing that I like about this division is sometimes you get fucking scrappers like this where it's like two tall, skinnier, lanky fighters who are just down to throw hands, and one guy may just fucking just get the upper hand just because he happens to land quicker, just by virtue of just being tall and lanky. And it was funny too because you have Jai Herbert, a guy who's been notoriously chinny in this division, and he's 37. Like, I made a joke because like they pulled Jai Herbert out for this fucking card in Canada. I'm like, they got him in here to die, and by God, did he not do that? He said, "I am not done. Hold my beer, son," and just fucking quack, just deck fucking Rat Garbage out. Malinello dies, gets brought back to life by the grace of fucking. Oh my God, what's the ref's name? Oh my God, I can't remember. But the ref doesn't let him die. the ref allows him to come back to life and just give him another chance. He actually hits Jai Herbert one more time before finally getting just fucking deaded again. And it was just that moment of just craziness. And you're like, oh, Jesus Christ. Jai Herbert's going crazy. Malonalo's like, fuck, on the ground. Like he knew he fucked up. Because he did the thing that fucking, what's his name? Jerry Prochaska did. He was playing around with his food and fucking got caught doing it. Like, you can't, like, it doesn't matter. This is why this sport's like, crazy. It's the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. It's a fucking up and down, up and down. This is what fucking MMA is about. Like, it's not over until the fucking ref stops it, and the ref fucking barely stopped it before, allowing more damage to accrue, man. I mean, Jesus Christ. It was fun. It was fun, and I was happy that Jai Herbert got a win. I was sad for Mando, but like, you can't let your opponent like let go like that, man. You had him dead to rights, and you fucking pulled a jury. I think that's what we're gonna call it from now on.
He went full retard. You never go full retard. Against the rules. And hopefully Jai Herbert can be remembered for something other than being the guy who once almost beat Ilia Topuria.
He should have beat Ilia, if I'm being honest.
It's just sad though, because the guy's had an entire career, and it's the only thing anyone ever mentions. Remember that one time? Like, yeah, okay.
He head kicked him and he almost killed him.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Mouse. I believe I saw you say somewhere in one of the chats that you wish you made patriotic picks for this fight, but you didn't. So I'm guessing you went with Mando in this one. What did you think of the fight?
I did indeed go with Mando. I do not make patriotic picks. Although I did make a few kind of Canadian patriotic picks last night, but Jai Herbert, living in Birmingham, he's used to dealing with rats and garbage, and here they were all combined into one. Look it up sometime. People. Yeah, slightly political there, but it's English politics, so it's okay. The Black Country banger banged. He was very hurt early on. Every punch Nalo landed was just knocking him down, knocking him backwards. He was being chased around the cage right until he slammed the brakes on, stopped, and just landed that absolute peach of a counter right hand. Then I don't know how Nalo survived the ground and pound that followed that. And then he managed to get standing, and then Jai, of course, knocked him down and finished it off there. I didn't do much research on this fight. I think it was probably MK that kind of nudged me in the direction of Nalo. They seemed very hot on him, which I should know is a bad idea because MK is notoriously shit at making picks. Didn't really do enough. I should probably look more at Jai Herbert. I always forget that he's the guy who almost knocked out Ilia Topuria, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
As I've heard somewhere before. And hopefully Jai Herbert can be remembered for something other than being the guy who once almost beat Ilia Topuria.
He should have beat Ilia, if I'm being honest.
Fantastic performance by Jai Herbert. Very happy for him. Surprised he didn't get it. I don't think he got a bonus for this one, did he?
He should have. This was fight of the night, if anything.
I guess he got 25k for the stop, but probably deserved more of the 100k one. But yeah, good performance by him. I didn't know much about Mandel Nalo beforehand, and I guess I'll see some more of him in the future. They're not going to get rid of him. He's pretty exciting. So and Jai Herbert can drift off back into the deep dark depths of Birmingham. Sorry, and overdid it with the D's there.
The deep dark depths of Birmingham. Yeah, I like that. But Mando is good. The folks that may have watched him for the first time last night, don't write him off just yet. The guy's a hell of a fighter. Very fun, very enjoyable. And he just, he got caught last night. He zigged when he should have zagged. And it's happened to a lot of guys recently. It happened to Yuri. It's happened to Aaron Pico recently. Just, you can't over pursue. You over pursue and you're bound to get smoked. It's the nature of the fucking game. And he knows it. And that's why he, like Austin said, he fucking screamed to the heavens as he laid there on the mat. Like, fuck. Had it in my hands.
Jai Herbert did talk about it in his interview that he said, once the guy started hitting him and knocking him backwards, he knew how he was going to set up the fight. And I'll give him the credit for that. I'll believe him in that moment. I think he was. He had enough. He's got enough game experience to just go, oh fuck, I'm in a bit of trouble here. Back off. All right, and now I know what you're doing. Eat this, motherfucker. And yeah, there it was. Boom.
I'm glad you were listening and were able to decipher that, because I didn't. I had no clue what the fuck that man was saying.
So you gotta think, actually.
He might as well have been fucking making up words on the spot. All right. All right, we got to finish up this main card with two fights that I absolutely do not want to spend much time on. The first of which is Jasmine Jastovicius. And she won a very safe, very pedestrian decision over Karine Silva. Truly nothing of note here.
Striking. Hey, shut up, Goose. Suck it, man.
So, MouseMan, you're going to go first. Give us some brief thoughts on this fight and the performance of your draft pick from last year.
She was, yeah. Didn't pick her this year. Yeah, like you, I can't say very much about this fight. It wasn't super interesting. It went the way I think most of us expected it to go. Silva did manage to take that first round with mainly from the bottom with some very creative and flexible grappling moves there. But then Jazz was just able to impose her will from the second round onwards, especially in the third round, where I think she had about 4 minutes of ground control time there. Karine Silva's attempt to climb the rankings failed, and that's about it, really. I did look at the rankings, and the two fights I can see for Jasmine are either Thug Rose or Macy Barber. Both of those are above her. She's not going to get a shot any closer to the title at the moment, I don't think. She's fought a lot of them already. The only other option would be a rematch with Silva, but she's already lost to her, like I said. But that was quite a long time ago.
Yeah, I'll just say I think you made the right choice by her not making the cut for your team this year. I do believe.
Yeah.
Hey, 2024 and 2025 were pretty kind to her, but I think that things are beginning to catch up. So Austin, your little snide little laugh over there. Keep it short like a Canadian gymnast and give us some concise takes on Jasudavicius versus Silva.
This is just perfect, like what MMA wrestling is supposed to look like: dominating and lack of being caught in bad positions. Like, she just kept her cool, kept her balance, and just kept stuck to the game plan. I mean, she found out what not wrestling looks like for her the last time she was out there against Man on Feel, and this time she just took an opponent who was in over their head. And you could tell the minute we got into the second round, she was already giving up takedowns fairly simply, and it was just academic for Jasmine Jastovicius. This isn't like an improvement; it's more of a par for the course for her. And college fillers should take notes from Jasmine Jastovicius. That's how you wrestle in MMA. Just saying.
She did get caught in a couple of pretty close triangles, and I don't know if it was a go-go or an Omo, but one of the Platas.
Sounds like a 70s funk band or something. Plata Sisters.
Yeah, well, funk, funky smells, things that stink. We got one more stinker to talk about. The main card opener, another irrelevant fight. This one in the lightweight division. Gage Young, he wins a forgettable split decision against the very forgettable Thiago Moises, who I can't believe. I thought this guy was 36 years old, but apparently he's 30. He's been around for fucking ever. But yeah, nevertheless,
he's 31, but yeah,
he feels like he's 41. So Gage Young spent more time showboating in this fight than doing anything else. Again, barely have to mention this fight, but give a succinct summary for the bleeders. Austin, you go first.
Well, I mean, yeah, you said it. Why are you celebrating if you're not finishing the dude? And then you're getting mad that he's you drop him and then he's not standing up. Okay, you're looking at the ref and the fucking ref's dude, back up. And you try to push the ref out of the way twice. What the fuck is that, man? You're barely here. Stop acting like you've been in this fucking business for fucking 20 years, dude. Get the fuck out of here. This dude that you fucking beat has fought better fucking competition to you, and you're acting like he's fucking nobody. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. But hey, he looks like a guy. He looks like a guy that we might want to see, face better competition. And if he does, he better not pull that same shit. I guarantee he's not going to make it past the top 15 if he ever tries that shit. But we'll see. I think I think I don't want to say. I think the I forget what's his name. The Brazilian,
Thiago Moises.
Moises. Thank you. I'm worried that he might look punch drunk. That he tell me not, man. He was shuffling out there and he was having a hard time throwing back offense. And when he did, he didn't really respond all that well to some of the strikes. And I worry that he may have taken more damage than necessary in some of his other fights, and he also looked like he was having that. Gage is probably a decent striker with heavy hands, right? He didn't look amazing, but he was landing pretty heavy. It looks like you might want to put Thiago Moises in a different capacity in this division because he's not a guy you can just keep throwing up against these dudes that are going to put a bludgeoning on him and see him fucking thrive in the rest of his life.
The sad thing is, dude, he is probably like one of the most prime candidates for a karate combat run. Like he is perfect and right up their alley for the kind of guys they like.
Don't do that to him. No.
He is though. He's that guy, like wear and tear on the tires, not a very good record, but a lot of it, the vast majority of it in the UFC, they can use him for that little bit of name value. He's not quite big enough to go anywhere else. Like it's got karate combat written all over it. And I don't want to see it, but I bet you, dude. I bet you. All right. Same for you, DangerMouse. Thoughts on this unremarkable lightweight fight?
I turned that return to my chair very nicely there. I actually have more notes on this fight than any other fight on the card, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. This is where I started writing my notes. So I was enthusiastic.
This is before you lost your fucking zest for life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This was a more experienced fighter who, at 31, as we just mentioned, should, I think, really be in his prime. But as you two guys have just mentioned, maybe he's just taken a bit too much of a beating across his career. But he was, versus a younger guy, half as many fights. On Tapology, I will say they were all favouring Moises. I think it was about 67% on there. Our very own Daz Riccio, I noticed, was picking Moises by decision. Moises made his intention very clear from the start, pushing Young back against the cage, getting the takedown, snatching a couple of minutes of control time, and then Young managed to get up, and the striking battle was fairly close. Young was the busier fighter, Moises was the more accurate. Moises also took Young's back for a little bit in the first round and almost had what Laura Sanko called an executioner's choke. No idea if that's really a thing or not. I'm guessing it is because Laura said it.
An opportunity from the back called the executioner choke. And then you're going to do the opposite of a guillotine. Instead of crunching forward, you're going to feel like you're popping his head off. You're going to arch back.
But whatever it was enough for him to take the round anyway. And there's no doubt that was his plan for the rest of the fight. But Young was indeed young and strong. He turned things around in round two. He stuffed 4 takedown attempts, found his range, and pretty much lit Moises up. Moises did have his moments with some powerful punches. But when you hit with more strikes than you actually attempted to throw, he was outstruck 3-1 in that round, according to UFC stats. Then I think you're in a lot of trouble. And then things did not improve for Moises in round 3. They just went further downhill as Young just gathered momentum. Another 5 takedown attempts thwarted. Young piled on the pressure and actually threw and landed more strikes in the final round than he did in the first 2 rounds combined. And according to Sanko, his coaches had planned it that way. They were intending on starting off slow and really ramping the pressure up. And they were intending that the 3rd round would be his last round. So I will say, nice job his team there. I agree with his antics in the cage. When I was watching it last night, I was like, for fuck's sake, just get on it, let him up. At least he was sensible there, not really going down to the ground with Moises. That is some fight IQ at least. Split decision win. The dissenting judge being the homegrown Canadian David Therian, who isn't the most experienced. I think he judged a few fights last year, and then before that it was 2019 when he was last judging fights. But nonetheless, my pick came through. Bit of a gamble, which is actually based on one of his losses rather than any of his wins, because Young is the only guy who's taken my son of a baker, Quillan Salkill, to decision. He's beaten everybody else.
That's where I remembered him from. Yeah,
he was one of he lost to him, Quillan, on the Dana White's Contender Series. But yeah, for me, Gage, G Money, Young look good. His wrestling defense is pretty solid. He does have some very nice hands. He's youthful. He has plenty of times to improve and develop. It doesn't need rushing towards any kind of top 15 thing. He's 25 or something. I can eventually see him fitting in there. And Thiago Moises is a very nice scalp on his way to getting there. I actually did enjoy this fight. Just because I was watching Young come back, I was really worried that Moises was going to be able to impose his will and get this fight to the ground all the time, and he just couldn't. So, yeah, congratulations. Very happy.
I'm sure we'll be seeing more of them. It's a division that full of guys. Another one of them that's just got a lot of depth. They're constantly throwing lightweight fights at us. So if he wants to stay active, I'm sure he'll be able to.
There's plenty of fish in the sea for him.
Yes, there is.
Sure.
Yes, there is. Hopefully one of them eats his ass because I didn't like that showboating. All right. Well, G golly, from G Money to this next thing. Well, it's a new segment alert time, guys. No more best of the rest today. In its place, we are going to play a new game. This game is called Pause or Pass. Or pass or pause, whichever way. I don't know, whichever way. We'll figure it out later.
Pause. You know what a pause is?
Yes.
But I list the preliminary fight and the result, and you both decide whether you have something to say or nothing to say. So you have a quick remark, you say pause. You couldn't give a flying fuck, you say pass. Get it? Got it? Good. All right, here we go. Featherweight fight, Marcio Barbosa versus Dennis Bazooka. Barbosa wins by round 1 KO. Vicious left hook at 1 minute, 20 seconds. Austin, pause or pass?
Pause.
All right, give us a quick rant. Let's see what you got.
I thought he was somebody else, Nazim Sajikov, for some reason. And for some reason, Daz Riccio corrected me and actually said, no, he's another guy from that same team who also got knocked out fairly recently. Yeah. So my apologies, but it was a fun knockout while I was there. So there you go.
DangerMouse, pause or pass?
Yeah, clearly this one's a pause. Killer debut for Barbosa. He slipped a left hook, as you mentioned, and then he followed it up with one of his own. One and done. Very, very nice. Nice and short. Yeah, congratulations. Great debut.
Poor Dennis Bazooka. That his head smacking off the mat might have been worse than the punch.
Yeah.
Disgusting. All right, next one. A middleweight matchup. Robert Valentin, formerly loved man, now hated man, versus Julian LeBlanc. Julian LeBlanc, who looked like he didn't even belong there. Robert Valentin wins via round 1 submission, rear naked choke, 2 minutes, 22 seconds. We'll go DangerMouse first. Pause or pass?
I have to pause on this one. I saw Robert Valentin was favourite, and I still picked Julian LeBlanc for some crazy idea. I think watched one of his fights. But yeah, for Valentin, a career-saving performance with. I know he's lost to actually some quite decent people. Tabor Gautier, I know he's one of them. I forget the others. So he hasn't lost to cans. He's actually lost to good opposition. I don't think he's going to go very far in the UFC. I know he's made some apparently controversial comments recently. I don't care about that. I don't really watch fighter interviews and shit. For that very reason, I don't get to hear any bullshit they say. But yeah, career-saving performance. Well done, Robert.
Definitely.
No shouting Thor or Odin in the cage either this time. I believe he was actually crying. I believe he was crying. I didn't have the volume on, and I didn't rewatch it this morning to hear what he said. So
yeah, he did cry. He was crying. Perhaps crying some crocodile tears. We'll never know. Austin, pause or pass?
For the sake of argument, let's just pass.
All right. Very well. All right, next up, heavyweight matchup. Newcomer Gokhan Sarikam versus returning Tanner Bozer. Sarikam wins via round 2 TKO, ground and pound, 4 minutes and 43 seconds. Austin, pause or pass?
Pause, mainly due to a 37-year-old fucking heavyweight from Turkey, and he didn't need the fucking plugs either. So there you go. Tanner Bozer might. Who knows? Man. This is where we are with heavyweight. It's fun.
Josh Thompson was glazing Sarikam, and I don't know why. Very weird. DangerMouse, pause or pass?
Yep, I have to pause this one as well. It was no Blades versus Hockey, but it was a passable heavyweight brawl. and a clean straight right hand finish. As Sanko pointed out, it's kind of a trend that the heavyweights apparently turning up a slightly slimmer at the moment, quite a few of them. But her most memorable statement from that fight, quote from it was, "What a helmet on Bowser, man. What a helmet."
Yeah. What a helmet on Bowser, man. Gosh.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, well done, Laura.
Another good one from that was Sanko was talking about the fighter interview with Tanner Bowser, and they had asked him about the size of Gokhan Sarikam, because apparently I guess he outweighed him or something, and Tanner was like, "Oh, don't worry about that." Well, this is what he told her, but the way she related, it sounded like she was saying it, and it was, "Oh, don't worry about it. I've been under much fatter guys than that." It was like, oh, boy. Someone's gonna clip that. Someone's clipping that. All right. From that one to another one, fight that probably had BC's pants around his ankles. Women's bantamweight matchup: Melissa Croden versus Daria Zalesniakova. Actually, a fun fight. Melissa Croden wins via unanimous decision. DangerMouse, I think you're up first. Pass or pause?
I have to pause this one as well. I picked Melissa Croden. I picked her for third round KO, so I was screaming at the ref to stop it in the last few seconds. She clearly lost the first round, picked herself up, and proceeded to batter Daria for the next 2 rounds pretty much. Yeah, good performance from her. Don't have much to say on it. It was an enjoyable fight. I really enjoyed watching that one. It was much, much better than the actual main event's female fight.
It was. All right, Austin, what about you? Melissa Croden versus Daria Zalesniakova. Pause or pass?
I would have liked to have seen it, so I unfortunately have to pass.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad. You hear women's bantamweight, and you kind of like already have a predetermined thought of how that fight's going to look in your mind, and it was actually pretty fun. So,
good.
The next one was not so fun, but it was a bit controversial in the women's flyweight division. JJ Aldrich versus Jamie Lynn Horth. Aldrich wins via unanimous decision, or did she? Austin, did you see this one? Pause or pass?
Pass, because I was unfortunately occupied. Wasn't able to see it. Yeah, I know, terrible.
Bleeders, listeners, Luke Thomas, because I know you listen to the JBR faithfully every week. It's clear Austin hates women. That's what's going on here.
Oh, how fucking dare you! If I had to use the shitter for like a minute, don't fucking come at me like that.
Mouse, were you on the shitter for this fight? Pause or pass?
Shocking referee, pass.
Oh. Very good, very good. All right, the next fight, actually a catchweight bout, 139 pounds, John Castaneda versus Dana White Contender Series newcomer Mark Vologden. This one would actually end in a majority draw. Austin, you are up first. Did you see this fight? Pause or pass?
Pass, because I did not see it.
Oh dear!
Burn the shed to the ground. Jeez. All right,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I couldn't. I didn't have the ability to.
He only has nominal means. DangerMouse, what did you think of this one? Did you catch this fight? Pause or pass?
I did catch this fight and definitely paused for it, just to discuss his refereeing as much as anything else, which was actually very good. Castaneda managed to split the posts on Vologden not once but twice, and they were really, really solid shots. They weren't little tickles. He absolutely blasted him. It was like he was trying to punt him across the cage. And yeah, finally the referee did take a point for the second one. Arguably could have taken 2 because there was I think it was really serious because not only was the nut shot to deal with, while he was clutched over in pain, Castaneda actually managed to hit him about 3 or 4 times as well. So that must have had a serious effect on the fight. Nonetheless, it did turn out as a majority draw. I'm not sure about scoring on this one. I know you were quite convinced that Vologden was ahead, and I thought he probably won at least. Yeah, I would not have been surprised if he'd have won it. just on the fight itself, but a majority draw. Shout out Infrared, who was making the comment that I made last week or the week before, that fans are going to complain about this because they've got a draw. Well, that's what happens when you take points during fights. If the referees do their job, you're going to get more draws. So suck it up, stop complaining. This is a new mode that we need. So no complaints from me.
Yeah, it was a strange thing because all the judges had given Castaneda the second round. So despite him losing that point, the second round just basically became a draw itself. So it was, I saw it going Vologdin's way for the first two, but nevertheless, it was Mark Vologdin proven to be, the bantamweight, if he can make bantamweight version of Justin Gaethje. Looks like Hasbulla grown up. Looks like Looks like Piotr Jan's son grown up. Looks like he could be anywhere between 12 and 37 years old. Hard to say, but very fun fight.
Wide range.
Exactly. All right. The opening fight of the night, the final fight to talk about, John Yanis versus UFC debutant, longtime Canadian fan favorite, Jamie Siraj. This is a bantamweight bout, but unfortunate for the Canadians, they started the night off rough. John Yanis wins via round 1 TKO, nasty elbows, 2 minutes 43 seconds. DangerMouse, pause or pass?
Yeah, I have to pause on it to comment it a little bit. Good performance by Yanis. He was the dog on this fight, but he turned up. He had good work with his hands, and as you said, that nasty finish with the elbows. He dropped about 4 or 5, I think, on poor old Siraj's head. Yanis actually looked very good. It was quite good on the mic afterwards as well, kind of apologising to the Canadians and saying, sorry lads, this is what I came here to do. I know I smashed your guy, but it is what it is. Enjoyable enough start to the... actually, I'm saying an enjoyable start to the night. It wasn't. It was horrible because I picked Siraj, of course. If I noticed, I think it was about 3 fights on some of the Tapology leagues before anyone scored a point. It was one of those kind of nights.
That makes sense.
But it was a rough night. Very rough night. Austin, pause or pass on this card opener?
Pause, because I did want to ask you, because you knew better than I did. When he came back from his medical condition, was that what was his record? Sujara, or how do you say it?
I'm not exactly positive of what his record was when he made his return, but since coming back from that, I think he went 4-1.
Okay.
Since returning from his medical, and for the listeners that don't know his medical condition, he had some sort of life-threatening blood condition or something like that, like an infection, and there's photos out there. Many people probably have seen them by now. Maybe we'll pull them up for you guys, but
nope.
His face just covered in this weird skin condition thing. Like the guy almost died, and they said he would never fight again. He came back. He lost, I believe, what was his return bout from this whole health condition. Got knocked the fuck out by Diego Brandao, elderly Diego Brandao, and people kind of wrote him off. But then I think he won 4 in a row on the regional scene up in Canada, but it was against total fucking cans, dude. So very strange signing.
I think they wanted to have a good story time with him winning. Like I say, possible not a can, but a guy who they just didn't realize, because his record doesn't reflect how good he is, right? You kind of assumed he was just a decent guy, being brought up to get grappled a little bit better, but he got clipped right off the bat, so and he just never recovered after that. So
looking at
it just sucks.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Austin, I thought you were done.
No, I was just gonna say,
I was just gonna say, I think Lazy's slightly off on his timeline there, judging by Tapology, because he fought in 2019, obviously pandemic time, and then he came back in 2023. That's when he went on his run of lesser fights, and then he fought Diego Brandao in 2025, and then he's had he's had 2 fights since then, which is three fights since then. He's 1-2 and just lost this one.
Yeah, well, again, it echoes the same sort of thing. Like,
Yeah.
the guys he was beating were not very high level. So, but they could have been looking for that hometown story, and
I think that's what it was. That's why I wanted you to kind of go through that whole thing, because I was like, yeah, no, the way he fought, that makes sense. Like, he fought like he was less of himself than I had perceived him to be. That's why I picked him. But it just goes to show sometimes you're 100% when you go in there, and sometimes you're just not yourself. And I don't think he's going to be himself for a while.
Yeah, I felt bad pointing it out in the main card minute chat last night, but I literally said right before this fight started, like Jamie Siraj, really good guy, good story, but his chin is absolutely terrible. And what happened? He got fucking knocked the fuck out. And I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
Didn't want that to happen. All right, well, that's a downer, and we don't do many downers around here. Let's bring the mood back up. That was pause or pass. Let us know in the chat and in the comments, guys. Do you like that? Maybe we'll make that a new thing. I think we might. But guys, you know what we got to do now? You know what time it is? It's time for us to give a numerical rating that nobody ever asked for, 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest. This is Rate That Card. All right. I'm gonna go first because I don't feel like stewing. I'm the curmudgeon around here. Year after year, time after time, Canadian cards are among the worst of the year. They don't have to be, but they are. That's what the UFC gives them. That's the menu that they provide. That's the spread that they offer. And this really was just a fluffed up regional card, and it wasn't even a good one. You can and you should catch a better Canadian card on any given weekend on Fight Pass. Now, you can watch Unified MMA, you can watch BFL, you can even watch Samurai. Anyone would have probably been better than this. Nobody, not even those in attendance, will remember this card in 2 years' time. It'll be forgotten to the sands of time, just like my rating for this unnecessary event. So, my rating, 3.16.
God damn it, Daisy.
I gave my only begotten son, and all I got was pegged.
Fuck you, Jesus Christ.
All right, your turn to be impolite to a notoriously polite people, DangerMouse. Tell the listeners just how much UFC Winnipeg absolutely sucked.
Well, it's not a fight I'm going to be holding closer to my heart. It certainly didn't take me to Xanadu. I'm losing it with this one. My countdown for this one, I think, is just going to have to be a straightforward 5.55. That's the best I can do, and I'm being pretty generous there. Yeah.
I love it. All right, Austin, don't let me down here. Don't let me down. None of that optimistic, I watched it all the next day and I had fun bullshit. I want it raw, like undercooked Canadian bacon, shit all over the UFC and these Canucks. Let's go.
I was hoping for the Canadian wave to show up, and it didn't. I didn't hate the card. It didn't do it for me. Usually I can watch these fights and be like, oh yeah, that was fine. I wasn't in love with it. I didn't hate it. And usually if you're indifferent about it, that's not a good thing. So I can't give it a 7. I can't give it just a 6. I could give it a
Oh, shit.
I'm not allowed to give the score anymore, but I'll say it's 6.6. That's as close as I can get.
Better than it deserves, but I guess that's a roast from Austin. That's a roast. I'll take it.
Austin handling Dave with kid gloves there.
All right. We got one last segment today before we wrap things up, fellas. It is time now to update the Tapology leaderboard for this mid-April event. Halfway through quarter 2 of the year already. So are we? I guess we are. So let's see how things shook out. All right. At number 1 for this week, holy shit, what do you fucking know? It is Super Dave. 565 points, 9 correct fights. Shout out Super Dave.
Go, Dave.
Yeah.
All right, in second place. In second place. God damn it, what do you know? Another one of these fucking JBR donks. It's DangerMouse. 480 points, 7 correct.
Thank you.
Pew, 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 pew. And because I'm told that we're going far too long and this is becoming a pattern, number 3, it's Nemo. 460 points, 7 correct. Shout out Nemo.
Yeah.
And what do you know? In the absolute dead last of 13, it's me. I suck.
I just want to say before this card went on, I was looking at Daz Riccio, and he was number 9 overall on Tapology before this card. That shows you how well he was doing.
Well, I mean,
Tapology, Tapology as a whole, all 10,000 people they're picking over whatever there is.
I did it very shitty, and I want to forget about it, just like I want to forget about this show. So everybody, this is gonna be good. Get ready for this. All right. Slap a moose on the ass and see if it spits out a hockey puck. That's the end of this forgettable trip to Winnipeg, Manitoba. I think next week is a Sterling versus Zalal. But let's be real, nobody gives a shit, and that's why it's at the Apex. Either way, we'll be right back here, regretfully talking about all of it. So until next Monday, they're the Mouse and the Madman. I'm the lackadaisical futon, and we're fucking ghosts. Peace.
We gone.
Did you guys talk about the Winnipeg crowd being hillbillies?
No.
Did you guys hear them? They were saying "woo" at the very beginning of the night, like a bunch of them.
Well, they were like probably one of the better crowds that you can get. That was like genuinely like having a good time, which is weird
People
because
give
usually
Americans a lot of crap for saying like the "woo, woo," like the Ric Flair "woo."
Well,
they started doing it right.
They literally
so
they
it's not
clap
just us.
for every fight. They clap for every fight. They clap for every.
Yeah.
Rushed to get us here, and now he's fucked off. Where are you, Dad?
Boys, how quickly the turntables.
I am talking in the emotions of the night. Can you hear me sing?
Hey, there it is. There it is.
Look at that. 15 minutes.
We love running shop here.
Entertainment lost.
All right, everybody's ready then. We're all set.
Let's go. I'm good.
Dave.
Shut up! No! Where's it? Get outside!